Alright guys, I've struggled to get this recorded and set up properly, so I'm just going to say this as quickly as I can. I played a lot of rune level metas today, trying to get things sorted out, and what I've come to understand is rune level 150 is actually really comfy, for both builds and gameplay. You can get most of what you need, you don't have to worry too much about things you don't, and as long as you min-max the character right, you come away pretty good. 125 I still think is starvation and a dumpster fire. And that's all I have to say about 125. It can die in trash. We're in level 200, however. Everybody's saying that it was too much. You know what? Oh, you guys a bit of an apology. You're right. It's a little bonkers. But not maybe for the reason everyone seems to think. Yes, you can get away with a whole lot in 200. And there's some niche builds there that don't exist in the runes. It's great. But here's the problem. So most of those builds that you would have super optimized at 200 can be pretty optimized, if not just as good, at like 150, 163, somewhere along there. It's not all that different. It really isn't. Now, the scaling, no, you're not going to get the maximum death staff scaling. You're going to have to put up with a specialized staff, or carry a regal if you want to go with the sorcerer, 80 int, that sort of thing. But it's really not that different. It really isn't. The big difference here is the tax you have to pay for other stuff is going to kind of come and go. Like the Rancor spells and the fire sorceries, Raggan's Rings of Light, the things that require like End Faith investment. But the things that do that are actually scaled pretty good. So like, take, for example, the Golden Order Seal. It scales really good to End Faith. Gelmer Staff does okay. It needs, but that's kind of my point. The scaling's the problem. So 138, 150, 163, all reasonable numbers. You got plenty to work with in those spaces. But you need the scaling to back it up, and a lot of times you don't have it. You can build a proper cold build at 138. You can build a proper End Faith build at 138. You can build a regular sorcerer at 138 with no issue. 150 makes it nice. And you can get away with a whole bunch of craziness from 138 to 163. And, like, all that craziness, you're still doing the same thing at 200. There's very little difference. You don't have any different spell slots. You get all those from items in the world. The only thing that it sometimes does is free up your talisman slots. And that's really the big one. Is because at like 200, you want to be running things like your spell buff talismans. You want to be running your weapon art buff talisman. You want to run whatever you need in the flex slot. But that kind of just becomes the standard then. You don't get the variance. This is what people would like to see, is these interesting choices people make here and there, sacrifices and whatnot. I kind of get that with the talismans being a problem. But I don't like the talismans being there because of starvation, like at 125. And that's where we sit with this. You need enough vigor to make the game playable. Whatever that means to you, great. You need your main scaling stats to scale properly. So something like Malekith's, you need about what, 45, 40, or 50, 40, something like that. Strength Faith, roughly around 80 points. So again, kind of a similar scaling scenario. And then where you have, say, Faith into an Arcane, where they're split up a lot, you can usually get somewhere around 50 with the additional scaling in the others. So 50, 30, 45, 45, you get the idea. And that's usually, or you can just go like high int, pay the tax in Faith to get, say, Rickard's Rancor, with no problem. All the stuff you can do at 200 with a whole bunch of stats, all stuff you can do at 150 or 138 with a lot less, and there's really no detriment to it. Now, there's probably someone out there listening to this that thinks, okay, yeah, but my poise. Well, yeah, you're right. If you want a lot of this castery stuff I'm talking about, your poise is probably going to take a hit, because that's the one thing you're going to be sacking is probably endurance. But you need mind to cast spells. The endurance sack is not as bad as people make it out to be. I've run, I think, 15, 16 endurance in this game for a long time. Is it optimal? No. Is it good? Probably not. Am I running low poise on every character that has it? Absolutely. And on the characters I want with high poise, I'm married to that jar arsenal. So, again, the higher you go, the more talismans you pull off. Either powerful talismans, scaling. You see what I'm saying? I actually think the meta's in a good place right now. I think 125 is still starvation. I don't think it's worth pursuing. 138 through 163 is probably pretty good, though 163 I'm a little dubious on as of yet. 150 seems to be something that would be good for the community as a whole overall, I believe. And like I said earlier, there is no way I want to see 200 become any kind of standard. That was bananas, and it is crazy. It's kind of like playing Dark Souls 2 again, where the soul memory caused the soul level to be useless. That's it, guys. That's all I got. Enjoy the video.